We know PS5 is on the way, and it's been 6 years since the launch of PS4. PS4 is actually going to be the second highest selling console. And do you know what the first place is? Yeah, it's PS2. Isn't that crazy? PS4, with its awesome library of games, has marked Sony's place in the world of consoles. But the question is, will Sony be able to live up to it in the future? The PS4 Pro seems to have pushed the capabilities of the console gaming to the next level. So what will Sony be able to offer us in the new PS5 that would make it better than the PS4 Pro? If it's going to be better, then does it mean that the current catalog of PS4 titles will be redundant? So many questions, but so less information, as Sony has not given out much information yet. But there has been some information going around, but they are not ironclad. Here are the top 10 reasons to be very excited about the launch of PS5. Sony is not going all digital with PS5. For all the hipsters, like me, there is hope and there is good news. With everything from movies to music all digitized, the fun of buying records is slowly vanishing. But fret not. Sony has confirmed that PS5 definitely comes with a disc drive. For all those who love to have their collection proudly on the shelf, you can celebrate. What's more, it means that games will not take all your storage space. We are saved from the pain of deleting one game to accommodate another. If it ends up having a 4K drive as claimed, it will mean even more disk space. 4K discs can hold 100 gigabytes. That is twice of what Blu-ray can hold. Do you know what that means? Larger games with no compromise on the loading time. Sony is all geared up to revolutionize the controller. The vibrations of the controllers have been there for a while now as the feedback for players. Initially, it was a pair of counterbalance motors, but Sony is mixing up things this time. They are bringing in haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. This means that depending on the situation, the controller feedback will respond differently. Mind you, this is not a new thing. Xbox One has already haptic feedback, and Sony is simply trying to improve on it. Adaptive triggers, on the other hand, is a whole other thing. It allows the developer to program the controller to actually respond to things going on in the game. Let me give you an example. So you're sliding a car around a corner. Nice and easy. But if you're walking through mud, it's going to make movement more difficult. That's what they are going to do with the controller. This will make this much more realistic. But will it be as good as it sounds? We have to wait for the release to know that for sure. PS5 will be bringing back the good old multiplayer thing. This one is very odd and old. The sharing of the controller for multiplayer has been long since gone, since the days of having to share your controller to play Micro Machines multiplayer. But Sony has already launched a patent that is going to let one pad be shared by many players. We don't know what they are going to do about the elbow space, and the diagram they have given for this is not all promising. But since it's just a mock one, there is still hope. They have already tried their hand at the Play Link feature, but this seems beyond that. Honestly, I don't even understand how this counts as a feature. And we don't know how they can put this feature into use, apart from party quiz games genre, maybe. I don't know. So finally, Sony is getting on board with a backward compatibility. Fans have wanted backward compatibility for years now, and Sony has decided to heed to its time. PS3 was the last backward compatible console that came out, and players could only play PS1 games on it. Mark Cerny, the technical lead of PS5, revealed that because it's based in part of the PS4's architecture, it will also be backward compatible with games for that console. But to our dismay, their team has recently said that they aren't so sure if they can make it completely compatible. So we do not know what is going to happen to the old games in the PS5. Maybe the library will become redundant, or it could be that only Sony exclusive games will be backwards compatible, or even that it will be more like PS4 that allows only downloads. But nothing is confirmed yet, so I pray to the video game gods that our current favorites from the previous generation consoles can be played in the brand new one. Sony is contributing to PSVR support. PSVR is not for everyone, and Sony hasn't made it mandatory to own one. But many think it is a nice addition to PS4. We don't have any confirmed information as of yet, but there have been some leaks. Though we don't know it for sure, it appears that the headset and the motion controller have a new design and additional features, especially the rear camera on the headset to possibly give a much more accurate read of the surrounding to the player. It also appears that they are wireless. It means less feeling confined and possibly more power consumption. But all these are just speculations, as Sony has decided to remain hush-hush, silent on the details. Now let's move on to its appearance. Here's the thing, we don't know anything about it yet. Though Sony gave out some juicy specifications, we have got nothing on its looks. The image of the development kit did some rounds on the internet. Then a mock-up design by digital render concept creator is currently circulating. All that being there, Sony is known for its smooth, sleek design. Even in PS4, we saw that they went for a minimal design that we now love and cherish indeed. Also, we don't know if there are different versions of the storage sizes coming out for PS5, but it always happened in the past and we shouldn't rule it out this time either. Sony is bringing about 8K TV support and 4K Blu-ray player inclusion. The Blu-ray playing functionality was the best PS3 feature, as it opened up a graphical fidelity of films on HD TVs without you having to pay more money. PS4 also had it, and Microsoft eventually caught up. But Sony hasn't offered anything that plays them yet. But PS5 will be able to play 4K Blu-ray discs from its launch. But what blows our mind is the addition of 8K support for the current range of high-fidelity TVs. All we hope is that it includes the full 4K support. Sony is going to remove loading time with SSD. Even though the HHD used in many home consoles gives more storage space for downloading larger games, the loading time has always been a pain. In PS5, Sony has planned to stop us from going through that torture by introducing SSD. It might not completely eliminate the loading time, but it will definitely reduce it. SSD has already proven useful in the handheld console to reduce loading time. Recently, the Switch used it. Sony claims that it will allow us to play the game instantaneously once we start it, but we don't know if it's going to come with the main PS5 model or it will come with it as a variation. We also do not know how much it will affect the price points. SSD also allows us to customize the installation. We can only install a single-player component in a multiplayer game if you want to. Moving on to a topic which we're all worried about. Cha-ching, cha-ching, the cost. Hopefully Sony has learned the lesson not to aim too high in the pricing section, with the proposed price of PS3 way back in 2005. But the cost is definitely not going to be less than the current Pro generation PlayStation, which stands at the £300 to £350 price range. The new tech with new features is definitely going to cost more, at least for the launch. Even though there is no official info on the price range, the current predicted benchmark is about $499 to $450 in the beginning. We know there's going to be many variations of the PS5 as far as controllers are concerned. It is predicted to be in the £50 range. And now the last topic, the possible launch titles. The speculations going on in this area are staggering, and we cannot wait to see what games will launch when PS5 hits the market in 2020 holiday. Initially, people thought it was going to be the Final Fantasy VII Remake or The Last of Us 2, but since the release dates for both of the games are given in early 2020, they are off the table. Now, it's possible the Ghost of Tsushima or Sucker Punch, a new IP, could be a launch title for the PS5 as their release date hasn't been out yet. Recently, rumors that the Resident Evil 3 remake also could be a launch title, as there has been an announcement that is underway, but we don't know how far it is ready. There's also a chance for the sequels of exclusive God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn to be announced in the meanwhile. Since we have about a year's time, it is really hard to guess what is going to come, but exclusive follow-ups definitely sounds like a good way to push the new console. That's all we have for today, folks. Stay tuned for more updates and let us know in the comments what you think of the upcoming PS5.